Welcome to the 331 podcast.
According to the latest point-in-time homeless count, there were 5,232 people who were experiencing homelessness in the Metro Vancouver region. That's up 9% in just 2 years. These figures include people who are sheltered and unsheltered. These men, women, and children are often misunderstood, marginalized, and stigmatized. On October 29th at around 11 a.m., I went out to 221st Street in Maple Ridge and asked a group of people if they would like to be interviewed about life on the street. I was lucky enough to get 2 people who said yes. The first interview you're going to hear is with Larry Yargeau, and the second one is with Randy Peterson. Did you grow up in Maple Ridge?
No, I didn't actually. I just moved here actually just a few months ago, 3 months ago, 4 months ago.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Alberta. I was born in Saskatchewan and ended up in child services care and ended up getting adopted when I was 5 and to a good family in Penhold, Alberta.
In where, sorry?
Penhold, Alberta.
Okay. And is that where you grew up in the foster family?
I got adopted into that family, so they became my mom and dad and my brothers and sisters, and that's where I grew up until I was 12.
What happened when you were 12?
But growing up, I just it just wasn't the best behaved kid. Didn't really listen well. I was mad at the world and because I had no answers for anything. I didn't know. I knew I was adopted, but I didn't know who my parents were or anything like that. And
yeah, like you said, you were put into the foster system when you were 5. What was that experience like for you?
I was adopted out of the foster system when I was 5. I was actually, from my understanding, my parents, they had an alcohol addiction, and they were, they just took me to a babysitter's, and they just didn't come back for whatever reasons. I never got to meet my mom. She passed away before I got to meet her.
Sorry.
How
old were you when they didn't come back that time?
I was 3 months.
3 months old.
Yeah, so I don't remember meeting my parents, ever seeing them or.
What about your dad? Have you ever reached out to him?
I know where he is and who he is now and stuff like that, but his life choices didn't really line up with my personal beliefs or however you want to look at that. He was getting married to a woman I was way too young in my eyes, for him to be with, and I just didn't agree with that, so I just.
Fair enough, of course.
Decided not to have him a part of. I'm not a part of my life, right? So.
Yeah. What happened when you were 12?
I just decided that it was time to, I just figured I had it all figured out. I didn't want to live under my parents' roof anymore. I didn't want to follow their rules. I figured I knew what I wanted in life and how to get it, and turned out to be a really poor choice on my end.
Did you end up trying drugs at 12?
I had actually started smoking weed and cigarettes when I was a lot younger. I was only 6 years old when I started smoking cigarettes at the local ice rink with older kids in the town. Just to fit in, right? I was adopted, so I kind of didn't have
I think my first cigarette was 11. And then first drug I ever tried was acid. Well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, I've done. First drug I tried was weed, and then alcohol, weed, and then ended up into the heavier drugs at quite a young age. I was here in Vancouver, and when I was 13, on the east side of Vancouver, smoking crack cocaine. Like,
Oh man, holy shit! How did that happen? Did somebody offer it to you, or did you already try it and then kind of started?
yeah, it was. I moved to Kelowna. I went to Kelowna with a friend of mine that was, and ended up starting to use crack there with my girlfriend. My girlfriend was smoking it already, and
Okay, so that was your exposure to
yeah.
it.
So one day I just, curiosity kills the cat, right?
Yeah.
So and that not a very addictive personality. So like once I was into it, I all went into it, right? Like
Well, it's a very addictive drug as well, Thanks, man.
then it's just
So,
yeah. And then I went from there, like I then progressed from that until actually 8 years ago I got into fentanyl or heroin, and I tried it before. I didn't really like it. And then
what
I
was
don't
that
know.
experience like? How did you use it for the first time? And you reject it, smoke it?
I smoked it for the first time, and then I got injected. And that was back when I was 16. I smoked there, and then a guy that I didn't, I thought was my friend, ended up not being such a good friend. And looking back at it, wasn't a good friend. Gave me my first shot.
Can you describe what that feeling's like?
Yeah, like it was just like this warm embrace. Like it was like this something that felt like I've been searching for my whole life, right? It was just like this warm feeling came over me, and just a relaxed, calm feeling, and that was back when it was actually heroin, right? Like it wasn't fentanyl like it is now. Um, and then I chased that feeling for a while, and it was never the same, right? It was always, and that's what.
You find that that's true, what they say? They kind of chase that first feeling when you first got high?
Yeah, definitely. Like it's definitely something that was true for me anyway. Like I can't speak for other people, but definitely for me that's what it was, especially with coke, crack. I got that first ringer I got, they call it. It was just a feeling of like like coke and heroin are two different feelings, but like coke was just like this feeling of rush and habit, like was just like get done. Like let's go get a bunch of stuff done, and that's what. And then with heroin, it's just more of a chill, relaxed, warm embrace, a chill, relaxed kind of thing. And yeah, there were just feelings that I just felt like I was searching for my whole life. And then once I started, it just, it's whenever people ask me what kind of dope I do, I just say more, right? Like,
Right.
I just call it all more now. Like
And then how do you access it? I mean, does the dealer come and ask you for it, or?
when I first started, it was like, just, friends and stuff like that, right? And then as it progressed, and, like an addiction, like you find that you change your friends a lot, the group of people that you hang out with a lot. Until you find that, those group of people that have the same values and stuff like that don't seem to change under the drugs don't change them or anything. But until then, you just like, yeah, this sometimes you'll get a number, or there's a spot that you can always go to that someone will always have it there, or like it's just.
Have you ever overdosed before?
Yeah, I overdosed a few times.
What's that experience like?
I can't really tell you. Like it was just like Like the first time I ever overdosed, it was in Vancouver at the Safe Injection site. And thank God I was there because my friend didn't know what to do or anything like that. He was just like, whoa, like he had overdosed, but he didn't know how to handle it himself personally, right? But being there, they Narcan, brought me back, and it was actually like it was just a feeling of nothing. That's really like it was kind of weird. Like when I woke up, I was looking up at the paramedics and the staff at the injection site, and they're like, "Okay, just relax. You overdosed, and explain to me what happened." Because I didn't remember. And I just felt that it was just a feeling of just, wow, that's all it takes. Like, it was just a bewildered feeling, I guess. Like, I didn't know what to feel or what to expect or anything. Like,
So now I've always wondered this, like, how long did it take for you to use again? Like, I think most people think, like, if they overdose, they're going to be, if they end up getting Narcan or they wake up, they're going to be scared, they're going to be like terrified, like, holy shit, I almost died. I'm not going to do that again. But I'm always surprised when I'm working and how many times I'll, say Narcan someone or bag somebody, which is like, with the BVM,
yeah.
and you resuscitate them sometimes, and they don't want to go to the hospital, they don't want to go with me, and then they just want to go, and I know that they're end up just going to be using again. I always wonder, like, man, I'd be terrified if somebody told me I overdosed.
Well, yeah, like for me, it was just a feeling of bewilderment and all. Like like I definitely was like I didn't feel scared. Like it wasn't something where I was like, oh my god, like it was more or less like a wow, like really, like. And then and I don't know, maybe it's that I don't value my life or what it is, but I was using again like an hour later.
And was it the addiction that kind of overpowered it, or was it, something else?
I can't really tell you what it was. It was just different. It was a feeling of just like, again, everyone else was doing it, right? Like, it was just, I wanted to, fit in at the time, and, that's what everyone was doing, right? And my friend, we got the injection site closed, so we left, and, they bust out some more dope, but I yeah, and I just continued using it.
Have you ever tried to get treatment?
I've tried to treatment a few times now, few different places. Been to a couple places in Vancouver, a place out in Alberta, and Joshua House, and out to like UGM and a couple other smaller recovery places.
Is it
And
easy to access that?
years ago, yeah, it was like when I first moved out to Vancouver this time, and I was 2012, 2013. I came out here, and it was a lot easier to get into detox and stuff like that back then. Like now, it's like you wait a month. You have to wait a month or longer to get into detox. And being addicted to fentanyl, I have to go to a detox before any treatment center will take me, right? Because of the withdrawal. So, it gets.
If you go to a building, you sort of express it.
Yeah, like it's. When the first time I started going into treatment, I was just smoking crystal meth and rock and weed, and So the withdrawal from that isn't as serious as it is for fentanyl or heroin or, stuff like that.
That's the worst.
Yeah, they're like alcohol's worse. You can die from alcohol withdrawal, but it's a lot worse. Like you get sick, you get cramps, you feel like crap, and the first couple times didn't have that problem, right? I wasn't addicted to fentanyl, and so it was easier for me. Like I just go into detox and I'd be there a week or two, and then I'd go into treatment right away.
So you feel fentanyl's the worst, the hardest one to get off.
Yeah, definitely one of the hardest. Like it's honestly like this time around, like I haven't know what I see and like I've felt a little bit of it, but I don't normally let myself get to that point because it's a lot I see other people go through. Like it's cramping, like your legs cramp up, your whole body just cramps up, and it's painful. Like the pain I see seeing some other people that have done it is, like I definitely don't want to go through that, right? So
what are some of the things that might be preventing you from getting off of it? Is it bad? Is it watching people go through the withdrawals? You want to go through it, or?
No, I think it's more of a really there's no place to go really, like because I have to go to a detox in order to get into the treatment, right? Like it's like with meth and that, like you don't have to. There's no really big withdrawal or anything like that. But now that I've gotten to fentanyl, it's a lot harder. I have to go to detox, so that's going to take a month. And that's really what starts it when I feel like, okay, like, yeah, I've had enough and, I want to quit. I make the call and I get a date a month later and I say, just call every day and, maybe you'll get in sooner.
You have to be sober to get in there?
No.
Go in.
Yeah, you can actually go in like high on fentanyl and stuff like that. So it's, like they just,
what do you think stopping most people from getting off of the street?
the weight, not so much the availability of people that are there, like facilities and stuff like that that aren't open to it, right? Like they're full or there's a long waiting list, and like for me when I want to quit, like I want to quit. I can't say that I'm gonna feel the same way a week later. Like when I'm at my rock bottom, I'm at my rock bottom, and it only gets better from there, right?
Do you think mandatory treatment would work for you?
I did it for me. Like I think it would be more detrimental for me. Like I'm not somebody that likes to be told what to do. Like I don't. I like to, make my own decisions and just go by.
What do you think about when, with somebody really young and somebody that's just kind of new to the streets? And, my perspective, I think most people's perspective is that, like, getting them into a treatment center and trying their best to get them off of it, and making them go through it would be a benefit. What do you think? If you put yourself back when you were younger, how do you think that would have been for you?
And maybe like when I was younger, like it definitely would have probably made a difference.
Would have, yeah.
I think for me anyway, like I've never had that. Like, and I haven't talked to my family back home in 10 years, and it's not, like that's the type of relationship that we have now because of the choices I made in my life, right? And so I don't talk to them anymore, and so like I don't have those people like everybody I know and care about. They're all in this type of life, so and they all want the best for me. Don't get me wrong. They'd like to see me quit. They'd like to see me get sober, and but at the same time, I don't want to, like, they don't want to see me sick. They want to, so they help me out. But for me, like, if I run into somebody that's just new to the streets, or, you know, I have never, and I never will give somebody their first, hit of anything.
Mind if I ask, like, are you on the streets or are you?
I'm in a shelter right now, so, like, if I wasn't in a shelter, I'd be on the streets, and I just got into the shelter, so, I was on the streets before that.
And how long are you allowed to stay at the shelter for?
Until I get out, I believe it gets. I know there's people there that have been there for a few months that are just waiting for housing, funding for housing, or, whatever that looks like, or treatment for detox or whatever, right? Like, it's just a matter of waiting.
And for my final question, Larry, I'm just wondering, like, if you were going to tell, kind of the people of the Lower Mainland, something about the misconceptions of like homelessness and addiction, like what would you say from your perspective? What are people not getting?
For me, like, one, like, there are a lot of people, I believe, have that misconception that, like, well, like, looking at you're an addict, you're a bad person. Like, to be scared of us, or whatever. And in some cases, that is true. There are some people that, that don't care, right? But for the most part, people that I know, we all care. We don't steal from other people. We don't, like, we've got that, that moral, we're still moral. We don't steal from people that, like, we don't break in a car. None of my friends do any of that, because we know how hard it is for people to work to get that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I had 2 years sobriety, and I was working, and, like, I know how hard it is to buy a house, to buy a car, and, to break into somebody's truck at night and, take their tools and whatever. I know what it's like to wake up, all your stuff's gone, and you go to work, and you lose your job, and, like, it's all because of somebody else. And I don't, me or none of the people I know want to have that feeling of, like, man, we just caused somebody to lose it. Like, so that's the misconception, I think, that needs, like, there are some people, yeah, that do that, and it's not. I want to say that it's not by their choice, but it is. Really, when it comes down to it, they choose to do that, because I don't do it, and I'm fine. Like, I survive, right? Picking bottles or whatever, right? But
and if you could change one thing to kind of like, help people get off the street, what would you change? What would you make better?
I would definitely be more facilities for people that want to change. Like, there's one detox for, like, all of, like, not Vancouver, but, like, of Maple Ridge, Poco, Outford, all, like, those communities. Like, then that's just Creekside, right?
Yeah.
And that's the only one. So I definitely, if I could change something, I'd definitely be opening more facilities and making it more accessible for people that want to quit to, like, because, like I said, the month, when I get that date, it's like, by the time that date comes, like, I don't want to quit no more.
Yeah, right.
Right? Like,
so you're saying if you had a place to go when you feel that feeling that day, like, I want to get sober today, I want to get off, that you could access it that day.
Yeah. Or even, like, even sooner than, like, a month, like, like a couple days or whatever. Then, like, it'd be a lot easier for me to make that choice, to actually follow through with it. But then, when it's a month down the road, like, you know what's gonna happen in a month. You know where you're gonna be. You don't know, like, you don't even know if you're gonna be alive, or and that's what I think needs to change, is that they need to just have more more facilities open and more people that want to change. Because it's not easy, it's not as accessible as it was like 10 years ago, 5 years ago. Seems to have gotten worse.
Yeah.
And that's actually, if you look at it out, it's a good thing. It just means that more people want to get off the drugs, right? But they're just not prepared for it, I guess.
No, there definitely seems to be a lack of treatment centers. I know for me, I'd love to be able to take people to get help. And, as a paramedic, I can only take people to the hospital, and then they're in emergency rooms. So they're not really equipped to handle, sort of like the long-term,
Yeah. And then,
plan to deal with people that are in addictions. They kind of just refer it to
other people, and it's
exactly. And then, like you said, the motivation is gone, and,
and I think as paramedics and first responders and people that work in those facilities, because like I've been through them, and I know like the crap they take, and the bullshit that people put them through when it's just they're doing their job and they want to help, right? Just say thanks to all the paramedics, first responders over there. And anyone that works in the field of helping people in addiction, right? I know it's a tough thing to do, because like, we all put ourselves here. Like, it's not anybody's fault that I'm in this situation other than my own choices, my own. Like, I used to blame everybody else, but I've come to realize that it's me.
yeah.
I'm the problem. It's not anybody else. So
I really appreciate your honesty, and your candidness with me today. I really appreciate that.
And we'll be right back after a short message. Do you want to discover great new music from your favorite artists? Then check out SoundCloud. It's free to download, and the coolest thing about this music app is you get to send likes and messages to the musicians you're into, and they'll send messages back. Stay tuned and you'll hear our featured artist from SoundCloud at the end of this episode.
And now back to the show. All right. Welcome to another episode of the 331 podcast. I am here with Randy Peterson. Randy, thank you for joining me today.
No problem.
How you doing, buddy?
Not bad. I've been better. I've been worse.
Yeah.
Well,
how'd your day start today?
Cold.
At home?
Cold.
Oh, cold. Yeah. Did you sleep on the street?
No, I slept in the shelter tonight.
You slept in the shelter. That one there across the street there?
A lot of nights I do sleep outside, though.
You do. And where do you sleep outside? Like, do you have a place that you go to?
Various locations.
Okay.
There are some spots where you can be sheltered and not bothered, but they're not that common. So you really have to look for a spot that's going to be safe.
Yeah.
And dry.
Have you tried to get into the shelters around?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. Salvation Army is booked solid right now, because of the weather. And then the overnight shelter, it's free packs in there too.
Yeah.
So if you're not there early, then you're out.
Like, you don't mind me saying so. I mean, you're like older gentleman here. How long have you been on the streets for?
About 10 years.
About 10 years. Okay. Yeah. How did that happen? How did you end up?
Well, I was married and loved my wife very much, but unfortunately, it wasn't mutual. Right? But so she basically kicked me out, and I ended up at a friend's place, and that friend passed away. So I was on the streets after that. It's like,
and then do you mind if I ask, like, was there any addictions going on at that time? Or?
At that time, not really, no. With marijuana, yeah.
Okay.
But wasn't until
wasn't until after Blanche passed away that things got bad.
Do you mind if I ask if you have any addictions right now, or
Yes.
what are you addicted to now?
Speed and pot. That's about it. And
What was it like when the first time you tried that?
well, I tried it a long time ago, and managed to walk away from it because I was getting married, right? And I managed to walk away from it clean and clear. And when I got out here, I was staying with my friend Blanche, and as I said, he passed away. So that sort of left me out on the street because I wasn't on lease. I eventually did get my own place in a building. And what we used to do is I'd get up in the morning and I'd go down to her place for coffee. And then the next day, she'd come down to my place for coffee, right? And it was my turn to go down to her place. I walk in, I don't smell coffee, lights aren't on. And oh, maybe she slept in. Went into her room, she was laying there. And the only really beautiful part of it was that she had a very peaceful, happy look on her face. I don't think she went in pain. Right?
And call an ambulance, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, eventually. I did lay beside her and cried for a while, but the cops understood that. You know, they wondered why it took me so long to call an ambulance. But all because I was crying. And they said, oh, okay. And accepted that. She was one of the most beautiful people I've known.
Yeah. How long ago was that?
Oh, 10 years?
10 years ago. Right. Yeah.
So that
Was that
very shortly after that, I just lost it. I just lost it and ended up on the street because I didn't pay my rent. And, it's just one thing after another.
do you is there any like, counseling or anything offered to you at that time?
That time, no.
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 So I'd imagine, like people need to grieve, right? People need to process things.
Yeah.
If they got bad habits, they've got ways of coping, it might end up being a downward spiral.
It was.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
Where are things at now with that? Where do you see things going for you?
I'm working with one of the counseling groups, and they're going to try and get me into a place. So it's nice to be able to have my own place again. But great. It's not do so much.
Yeah. What do you think? People in Vancouver need to understand a little bit more about people that are homeless and people that are addicted.
Well, not all people on the streets are addicts. If that's true. A lot of them are, yes, but there are like a core group of people that are not addicts. So if they paint us all with the same brush, that's wrong. Yes, I'm an addict. I'm not a hardcore addict, but yes, I admit I'm an addict. Um, there are some people that are just trapped here by their situation. And I kind of feel that homelessness is a social problem. So it's up to society to help us get us out of this.
What do you think needs to happen to help people that are homeless and addicted?
more support, more social housing, definitely, especially out here.
Do you think more treatment centers would be better?
Treatment centers, yes. Like we definitely need at least one more treatment center out here. And it's like what would you say? The lack of social housing, it's a big part of it.
Yeah. Do you think mandatory treatment would help? That's sort of like the latest buzzword going
I
around.
don't think mandatory treatment is so much the answer, because a person's only gonna go for treatment if they want treatment. Right? You can't force somebody to do what they don't want to do. So there has to be more support on the counseling end. You know?
That's what Larry said
Yeah.
as well, because I think people seem to think that is a solution. But what I'm hearing is that, people want to be given the option when they feel like they're ready
Yeah.
to go into treatment, not to be, forced by, someone else to tell them when they're ready to get sober. Is that right?
The government, the police, yeah. They were talking about if you get in trouble, like if an ambulance has to be called for you, then they should pay. We should pay for that ambulance trip, right? You can't get blood from your stone. You really can't. So I don't think that's the answer, because you just can put homeless people further in debt. And you need to make it so that they want to go, right? That's the only solution. The only answer to it is people have to want to go to treatment. They want to get clean. They want a new life. They want a house of their own, a place of their own, that sort of thing, right? And as long as you're an addict, it's not going to happen.
Because of the addiction towards whatever it is kind of becomes front and center.
Yeah.
With what you try to seek out. Is that it?
Yeah. And even if things were paid for, a lot of landlords won't accept people that they know do drugs, right?
Yeah. What do you think? If you seem like such a nice person, what do you think needs to happen to, to help you get off the street, get housed, and get sober?
Well, part of the answer is here already. There's a group called Coast Mental Health.
Yeah.
And they have provided some social housing in different levels, right? I got low barrier, high barrier. So they are on the right track, but there needs to be a little more low barrier units come available, where they have the counseling, they have the support, like in-house. Right? I don't think high barrier is the total answer, but we do need some high barrier units too, for people that really want to get clean. And there's very little tolerance towards drugs.
Yeah.
But then you got to sort of put the middle people in too, right?
What would you say to somebody who thinks that, homelessness, could be a choice?
It has to be a choice, because as I said, nobody's going to go in any kind of treatment unless they want to.
Yeah.
That's, I think, been made perfectly clear. I was in social unit housing, and we were talking earlier about how we've been blocked, or what was it? How we have been,
Just people are just kind of like ignored on the street or just not acknowledged. Yeah.
more barricaded. Well, I was barricaded. I was in first two social housing, MRM and Garibaldi, right? And I was like a tenant rep, so I would stand for management to help people fight evictions and stuff like that. And unfortunately, the manager of the place, first time I decided to stand up for one of my tenants was this young man. He was not a hardcore drug addict, smoked a bit of pot, drank a bit of beer. That's about it, right? But he was loud, right? And they were trying to evict him. And I asked him, well, do you have anybody going into this meeting with you? And he goes, no. As well, it's your legal right to have representation, right? You are allowed somebody there to witness, or even just hold your hand, right? Sort of thing. I said, well, do you want me to come in with you? Yeah, I was a BCTU shop steward for about 16, 17 years, right? So I have some of the training,
Yeah.
right? And they go, yeah, good idea, right? So I walked up to the manager and I told her that, excuse me, but your disciplinary hearing, I'm trying to not use names,
Right.
Um, you know, I'll be sitting in on it. And she looked at me, oh no, you're not. Yes, I will be, because it's legal right to have representation or witness. It is legal for you to proceed with this without him having a chance to have representation. And she thought about me for a second. Okay, this right. So I got in, and all of a sudden his disciplinary hearing turned into an investigation. Right, and he managed to avoid the eviction, and he settled down quite a bit after that. But it was like none of the people there have any kind of representation. They've got nobody to go to other than staff, and staff are very one-sided, right? They don't really listen to us, right? And they just make their mind up themselves. So that has to
Just
change.
feel like you're not listened to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We need like a steward or
Right.
somebody in the building we can bring our small problems to before they become a big problem, right?
So if I was the health minister right now, what would you tell me needs to happen to help people that are on the streets and in situations like you, going into cold weather shelters and trying to access treatment and housing, but not able to get it?
We have to make sure that there's somebody at any permanent residence, right? Or it's supposed to be permanent residence. There needs to be somebody there for the tenants to go to and say, look, the manager said this to me or whatever, and for them to actually have a voice that listens to them, right? And so they can then go to management and say, no, right? So it'd have to be somebody that has some training
Mhm.
in what is going on and how their legal rights are actually being just stomped on. It's like, just don't have anybody to go to when you're in a situation like that.
You feel if there was somebody there to access in the building that would be able to help you and listen to you,
Yes, and
be a
take
huge
it
help.
and take it to management without fear.
Right.
Right? Like there should be no
Fear of losing
fear of losing.
your housing
Yeah,
over it?
I did
Yeah.
though. The manager, what she did is she drummed up some charges against me, and I was arrested. Now, according to the rules, their rules, right? I cannot come back on property until I've seen the judge. Well, this is during COVID. But a year and a half later, I finally get to see the judge. Right? Meanwhile, I've been out of there for like a year and a half, and just not fair to people in place that they're not allowed back, or no options are given to them. You know,
Yeah, they're just kicked out.
just kicked out. Yeah.
Randy, thanks for talking to me today. Thanks for your
No problem.
candidness and your honesty and your story.
Mhm.
And I wish you the best of luck out here. And
Me too.
I hope that you get another place to sleep tonight out of the cold.
Yeah.
It's getting colder and wetter every day. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm a paramedic around here, so I'll keep an eye out for you and check on you too and see if you need anything. Okay.
Right on.
Okay. All right. Good luck, brother.
Thank you.
All right. Welcome. I want to thank Larry and Randy for their time, their honesty, and their trust. I wanted to shed a little bit of light on a problem we're all dealing with in our cities: homelessness and substance use disorder. I definitely feel like I understand a little bit more of what it's like to be on the street and how someone could end up there. This was part one of my On the Street series, examining the challenges we're facing and finding solutions on how to solve it. All right. Well, as most of you know, I'm a big music fan and I love discovering new talent. I decided to feature a new artist at the end of each new podcast episode. I've been given permission by the artist to play their music as long as I mention them in the recording and put a link on the episode page. So without further ado, here is Balynut from Budapest, Hungary, with his super cool dance track, Need You. I like that track. I usually listen to EDM stuff later on at night when I put the kids down to bed, and I really like that one. So that was Balynut, so Balynnut, and I found this track on SoundCloud. You can see the link down below. So remember to drop a comment or review at the bottom of this page and let me know what you think. Everyone have a good day, and I'll have a new episode release in another 3 weeks. Take care, everyone.